Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I knew something was wrong long before Wanda ever said a word to my face. It started with little things. Her practicing smiles in the bathroom mirror, her voice shifting into a tone that didn't belong to her, and the way she paused before speaking, like she was reading from a script inside her head. I didn't say anything. I just watched. One evening I came home earlier than usual. The house was quiet, except for a soft echo coming from the study. Wanda thought I was working late, so she didn't bother closing the door all the way. I was halfway down the hall when I heard her say, "Let me try it again, but softer this time." I stopped. Inside, she sat in front of her laptop on a video call with her friend Denise and some online relationship coach who spoke like she was running a seminar. The coach told Wanda to deliver the line with a warm expression, not anger. "Smile when you say, 'Take a break,'" the woman instructed. "It will confuse him. He'll panic. That's when you gain control." Wanda nodded like a student memorizing a lesson. "So, Roger, I think we should take a break. But with kindness?" "Exactly," the coach replied. "People surrender faster when they think you're calm." Denise added, "Do it in front of others. That way he can't argue. He'll look guilty if he pushes back." They talked like I was a problem to solve, not a person. They discussed timing, tone, and how Wanda should be the one who looked composed, so the blame naturally fell on me. Wanda even rehearsed the line again with a gentle smile. I listened to every word without making a sound, not angry, not shocked, just done. The moment Wanda said the word break with that smile, something clicked inside me. If she wanted that word, she would have it, but not the way she expected. Not temporary, not strategic, not a test. If she brought it to me with a performance, I'd make sure it became permanent. I walked back down the hall quietly, already planning my next move. After that night, I didn't bother pretending everything was fine. I didn't confront Wanda either. There was no point. She had already chosen strategy over honesty, rehearsal over conversation. So I chose something of my own, silence and preparation. The next morning, while Wanda was in the shower, I checked the shared tablet we used for grocery lists and travel plans. Her messages with Denise were right there, long threads full of advice that sounded more like instructions on winning a debate than saving a marriage. Hold the emotional ground. Make him feel responsible. Don't let him steer the conversation. Stay calm and he'll fold. Denise treated marriage like a sport. Wanda followed every suggestion like it was a playbook. None of it surprised me after what I'd heard the night before. I took screenshots and emailed them to myself. Not for revenge, just clarity. Later that day, I called my brother Gary. We weren't the type to talk about feelings, but he listened without interrupting. When I finished, he let out a long exhale. "Roger, if she pulls this stunt, you end it clean. No waiting. No hoping she'll undo it. Make it final." "That's the plan," I said. He paused. "You sure you're ready for that?" I was ready the moment she smiled while planning it. Gary didn't need more explanation. That evening, Wanda acted cheerful. She asked about my day, cooked dinner, and kissed me on the cheek. It all felt rehearsed, like she was practicing the warm tone she would use when she delivered her big line. While she cleaned up the kitchen, I reviewed the house deed. My name alone. I checked the joint bank account and confirmed I could separate the finances quickly. I found a small apartment nearby that offered month-to-month rent and reserved it quietly. Then I packed sentimental items, photos, documents, keepsakes, and moved them to a storage locker. Wanda drifted around the house humming, unaware I was already halfway out the door. I didn't rush, I didn't panic, I didn't question myself. If she wanted to test the marriage, I would give her the result, without argument, without hesitation. Everything was lined up. All I had to do now was wait for her to say the line she had practiced so many times. The week before everything came crashing down, Wanda suggested we host a small dinner. She brought it up casually, like she was offering to order takeout. "Roger, what do you think about having a few people over Saturday night? Something simple. Just dinner with friends?" Her voice was light. "Who's coming?" I asked. "Oh, Denise, of course, and maybe Lena and Paul from next door." She tried to sound spontaneous, but she had already coordinated it. I could hear it in her tone. I nodded. "Sure." She smiled and walked away relieved, thinking her plan was moving forward without a hitch. The break speech was coming. Saturday night. in front of witnesses, just like the coach told her. For the next few days, Wanda floated around the house with a soft, almost serene expression. She was overly kind, overly calm, overly helpful. Everything about her behavior felt like she was saving her energy for the performance. I didn't push back. I didn't change anything. I let her believe she had perfect control of every piece on the board. The night before the dinner, I sat at my desk and opened the folder where I kept my documents. I reviewed the lease for the apartment I'd secured. The lawyer appointment was set. The financial separation steps were ready. My overnight bag was in the trunk of my car. Wanda peeked into the room. "Are you coming to bed?" "In a minute," I said. She leaned on the doorframe. "I just feel good about us lately. You seem lighter." It almost made me laugh. Her plan was supposed to push me toward desperation. Instead, it pushed me toward clarity. Saturday arrived quietly. Wanda spent the afternoon cleaning, arranging plates, prepping food. She changed her outfit. Denise texted her every hour with lines like, "Stay calm and own the moment." I watched from a distance, detached but present. When the doorbell rang and our guests arrived, Wanda took a slow breath, straightened her blouse, and put on the same gentle smile she had practiced with her coach. She thought she was setting the stage. So did I. Dinner went smoothly at first, too smoothly. Wanda was attentive, passing dishes, laughing at jokes, and touching my arm every few minutes like we were on a talk show pretending everything was perfect. Denise watched her closely, waiting for the right moment. Lena and Paul were just happy to be invited, unaware they were part of a setup. After dessert, Wanda cleared her throat. I knew the signal. She placed her hand gently on the table, gave me that soft, controlled smile she had practiced so many times, and said, "Roger, I think we should take a break." There it was, delivered exactly the way the coach instructed. Calm tone, warm expression, a hint of concern, like a surgeon easing into bad news. Lena's smile faded. Paul shifted in his seat. Denise sat up straighter, ready to jump in if needed. I didn't blink. "A break?" I asked, voice steady. Wanda nodded slowly, still wearing the smile. "Yes, just some space. To think. We can work on things later, after we both clear our heads." She expected fear, maybe anger, something emotional she could control. Instead, I said, "A break is a good idea. Let's make it permanent." The room fell silent. Wanda's smile broke first. "Permanent? What? Roger, that's not what I'm saying." I looked at her evenly. "It's what you rehearsed." Her eyes flicked toward Denise, who froze. I continued. "I heard the video calls, the script, the coaching on how to deliver the line with a smile, the part where you were told to do it in front of people so I couldn't respond without looking bad." Denise leaned forward. "Roger, this isn't—" "Don't," I said, not raising my voice. "You don't get to speak for my marriage." Wanda swallowed hard. "I wasn't trying to hurt you. I just wanted—" "You wanted control," I said. "So here's the truth. I'm done. I'll move out tomorrow. I'll call my lawyer Monday morning. We're separating for real." Her face drained. "Roger, please, can we talk about this privately?" "We could have," I said, "before you turned our marriage into a performance." No yelling, no drama, just the sound of a plan collapsing. Lena whispered, "Maybe we should give them space." Everyone filed out quietly, even Denise. Wanda stayed in her chair, stunned, watching a script she thought she mastered fall apart in her own hands. I stood up, took my keys, and left the house without another word. The break she chose had already become permanent. Wanda was sitting on the couch when I returned later that night. She hadn't moved. When she heard the door, she stood and rushed toward me. "Roger, please, just listen," she said, voice shaking. "It didn't come out how I meant it." "You meant it exactly how you practiced it." Her expression tightened. "You blindsided me." "No," I said calmly. "You planned a performance. You expected me to collapse on cue." She wrapped her arms around herself. "I thought you'd fight for us." "You thought I'd fall apart," I corrected. "That's different." She looked like she didn't know what to do with her hands. "Can we talk tomorrow? When emotions aren't high?" "I'm not emotional," I said. "I'm done." Her eyes filled immediately. "Roger, please, don't walk out like this." But I did. Not out of anger, but out of certainty. I drove straight to Gary's place. He opened the door before I knocked. I slept soundly that night, the first peaceful sleep I'd had in months. The next morning, my phone lit up with messages, 10 in a row from Wanda. Apologies, explanations, half-formed excuses. You misunderstood. We need to talk. I didn't mean it like that. I love you. Please answer. Then a message from Denise. Running away doesn't fix anything. You should grow up and fight for your marriage. I blocked her instantly. I replied to Wanda only once. From now on, contact me only about practical matters, nothing else. That afternoon, I met with a lawyer. Filing was simple. I had documentation, I had timing. We initiated the divorce process immediately. While I handled logistics, Wanda spiraled. She called Gary. She called my workplace. She sent long paragraphs explaining she never meant for things to go this far. But things had already gone exactly as far as they needed. The word she delivered with a smile had turned into the one decision she couldn't take back. The week after I filed, everything around Wanda began to crack. At first, she tried to control the story. She told a few mutual friends that I overreacted, that the dinner conversation was meant to be a gentle suggestion, nothing more. But people weren't stupid. Lena reached out 2 days later. Roger, she's been telling everyone you blindsided her. But something about that night didn't sit right. It felt planned. I kept my response simple. It was. She didn't tell you everything. There was a pause. Then Lena said quietly, I figured. The truth moved fast after that. Denise's role became clear, and once people saw the pattern, they started connecting dots from her past behavior. Several women admitted Denise had encouraged the same tactics in their own relationships. Some of those relationships had already fallen apart. Wanda didn't expect any of this. When friends stopped responding to her messages, she panicked. When her sister confronted her, she broke down. She tried to hide inside work, but stress followed her there too. She took unpaid leave within a week. Meanwhile, the divorce moved forward smoothly. Wanda realized she couldn't stall anything. The house was legally mine. She agreed to move into a small apartment near her workplace. We divided the bank accounts cleanly. No shouting, no battles, just paperwork and signatures. Her parents called me, asking if reconciliation was possible. I said no. They didn't argue. By then, they already knew the truth. A few days later, her mother sent a message. We're sorry you went through that. We told Wanda she needs real help. Wanda finally started therapy. Real one. Not the online coach who taught manipulation disguised as empowerment. According to her sister, she cried through the first session, admitting she had destroyed the marriage with her own hands. While she tried to piece herself together, I settled into my new routine. Wanda's world felt like it was shrinking. Mine finally had space. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, life felt steady again. No drama, no rehearsed conversations, no guessing games. Around that time, I started seeing Helena. We met at a small bookstore near my place. She asked if I'd read a title I was holding, and the conversation just flowed. She was direct, calm, and funny in a grounded way. She didn't hint, test, or play. Talking to her felt like stepping into fresh air. One afternoon, I saw Wanda standing near the sidewalk. She looked smaller somehow, not physically, but in the way someone does when they're carrying too much inside. She gave a hesitant wave. Roger, could we talk? I didn't owe her anything, but I also didn't hold anger anymore. 5 minutes, I said. We walked to a quiet bench nearby. She sat first, hands clasped tight. I'm not here to ask for anything, she said softly. I just need to apologize. Properly this time. I nodded for her to continue. I thought I could fix our marriage by controlling it, she said. I thought a break would scare you into trying harder. It was stupid. I see that now. I've been meeting with a therapist every week. I'm trying to untangle why I believed manipulation was the answer to anything. Her voice cracked, but she held herself together. I ruined a good thing, she said. And I know I don't deserve a second chance, but I wanted you to know I'm trying to be better. I looked at her calmly. I appreciate the apology. But you're right. There's no going back. She nodded, a small, painful acceptance. I figured. When you smiled and said break, I told her, you ended the marriage. I just honored the word you chose. She didn't argue. She just wiped her cheek and whispered, I'm sorry, Roger. I hope you find what you need, I said. We stood. No false promises. Just closure. That evening, I sat on my balcony drinking coffee. Helena texted, "Still on for dinner tomorrow?" "Absolutely," I replied. Wanda's break had become permanent the moment she tried to weaponize it. Walking away wasn't revenge, it was clarity. And clarity was the first thing I'd had in years. Thank you for watching.